Eyes Wide Shut, more than any other movie, sparked my fascination with cinema as a powerful storytelling medium. Ever since I first watched it upon its release in 1999, the film has haunted me, prompting countless hours of study in an effort to unravel its mysteries. This article represents my contribution to the extensive analyses of Stanley Kubrick's work circulating out there. To avoid reiterating what has already been thoroughly explored by others, I have concentrated on my personal observations and interpretations, though significant research was necessary to grasp the film's many layers. Written purely out of personal interest and not for profit, I have intentionally excluded some ideas, considering the possibility of expanding this analysis into a book someday. However, I wanted to share what I have so far, which is already quite comprehensive, in time for Eyes Wide Shut's 20th anniversary. This analysis is for those who enjoy delving deeply into art, whether movies, music, or literature, and drawing connections to our own reality to better navigate it with wisdom and understanding. Writing this essay has been an enlightening journey, because, as you'll see, the movie's influence is far-reaching. Watching Wide Shut opened my eyes and mind, but writing about it has expanded them even further. It's been 5 years since I first published this article in 2019, when I rushed to finish it in time for the 20th anniversary of Eyes Wide Shut's release. While I was mostly satisfied with it at the time, a few aspects continued to bother me. Now, on the occasion of the film's 25th anniversary, I've taken the opportunity to add a few final thoughts. Notable new additions include an exploration of the film's connections to visual art and artists, in the section Carlotta and Giselle, a discussion about anti-Semitism and conspiracy theories in Stanley Kubrick is in the movie, and further analysis of links between characters and dialogue in Peripherality and Parallelism. I've also added citations, corrected minor technical errors, and included additional references to cinema, music, and literature where relevant. Some of my observations may go too far for certain readers and not far enough for others, but they are presented here as is. Now, 25 years after its release, I can finally put my obsession with Eyes Wide Shut to rest.
I see the damage I've done. Rip the top from my hide. No, I see the damage I've done. Rip the top from my hide.
Eyes Wide Shut is the final work of legendary filmmaker Stanley Kubrick, and like many of his films, it contains layers of meaning that are not easily deciphered or understood upon first viewing. Released in 1999 to mixed reviews, Eyes Wide Shut has since gained significant acclaim and is now regarded as one of Kubrick's finest works. Just a few days after completing the final cut, Kubrick passed away from a heart attack at the age of 70 at his home near London, England. Early reviews of Eyes Wide Shut described it as an erotic thriller and a sexual odyssey, frequently using terms like Freudian, dreams, fantasy, and guilt. While sex is undeniably a major theme in the film, it is equally rich with references to class, capitalism, the world's ruling elite, and secretive, powerful societies. Less immediately apparent are the seemingly endless allusions spanning literature, music, opera, ballet, theatre, mythology, religion, politics, history, etymology, cinema, visual art, and even Kubrick's own life. The film possesses a strange, almost labyrinthine quality of transtextuality, where closely examining nearly any aspect leads into a maze of cryptic symbolism, bizarre linkages, and cross-references to other elements in the film, other works of art, and real-world contexts. Countless details initially go unnoticed, only for deeper contemplation to reveal an intricate web of profoundly resonant interconnectedness. Many consider Kubrick the greatest filmmaker of all time, Known for being obsessively meticulous, he oversaw every detail of his films with painstaking precision. A perfectionist and workaholic, he maintained complete control over every aspect of his productions, down to the selection of books on background shelves in a scene. While our focus is often on the foreground, there's a wealth of meaning on the outskirts. Details we may not consciously register or understand unless we possess tangential knowledge. As I'll demonstrate in this essay, many of these peripheral elements are profoundly relevant to the film's central themes, often serving as meta-commentary on the work itself. Countless details in Eyes Wide Shut connect to the real world in strange and surprising ways, offering fascinating examples of how far Kubrick's vision extended, whether intentionally or subconsciously on his part. Kubrick was often criticized for prioritizing technical precision and intellectual depth at the expense of emotional resonance. Indeed, his films are not for those seeking light entertainment or lacking a cerebral inclination. Many of his works possess a cold, clinical quality and at first glance seem to present a deeply pessimistic view of humanity. Yet his technical innovations in cinema remain unparalleled, with each film demonstrating extraordinary oral and visual precision through masterful camera work, framing, lighting, composition, special effects, music, and more. One thing is undeniable: Kubrick's films always look and sound extraordinary. The stories themselves, however, are often polarizing, sparking both admiration and controversy. Kubrick's narratives frequently subvert traditional cinematic storytelling conventions, unfolding with bold, grandiose strokes that can leave audiences perplexed or even infuriated. His films challenge viewers by presenting stories in ways that defy expectations, creating peculiar and often unsettling effects. Although his movies sometimes have a bold and brassy quality, Kubrick was a master of narrative subtlety, meticulously calculating even the smallest details. He was a creative genius in crafting deliberate ambiguity, which is why his films often spark controversy. Different viewers interpret them in vastly different ways. As a result, Kubrick's films were frequently misunderstood, often receiving mixed or outright negative reviews upon their initial release. However, over time, sometimes decades, many of these initially overlooked works have risen to prominence, ultimately earning spots on best films of all time lists. Stanley Kubrick was, among other things, a satirist, a harsh and unapologetic one. This is especially evident in Lolita, 1962, Dr. Strangelove, 1964, and A Clockwork Orange, 1971. Three of his most celebrated works, all black comedies tackling pedophilia, nuclear war, and violent crime, respectively. While 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968, is widely regarded as his masterpiece, some might wonder if it too contains elements of satire, perhaps of science fiction itself. Regardless, it undeniably reinvented the genre in an ambitious and transformative way. Paths of Glory, 1957, and Full Metal Jacket, 1987, are less overtly satirical, functioning more as anti-war films. Yet the title Paths of Glory is deeply ironic, as the film condemns the irrationality of war, courageously dismantling the glorified depictions of victory that were so common in American cinema. Similarly, a case could be made that The Shining, 1980, serves as a satirical critique of slasher horror tropes, offering commentary on violence against women and the murderous madness rooted in colonial patriarchy. Kubrick consistently pushed boundaries, often employing over-amplification and exaggeration, hallmarks of effective satire, to provoke thought and challenge convention. So, is Eyes Wide Shut a satire of pornographic film, of sex and power in Hollywood, an ironic take on the erotic thriller genre, murder mystery, or film noir? The film stars Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman as a married couple who were at the time a married couple in real life, both major Hollywood celebrities and sex symbols. This casting is a brilliant example of metacinematic irony. Their well-known involvement with Scientology further enhances the film's commentary on powerful and secretive organizations. In an interview at the time, Cruise mentioned that he didn't think he and Kidman would have been able to handle the movie's intense themes around sex and monogamy had they been in the early stages of their marriage. Ironically, they broke up a year after Eyes Wide Shut premiered and divorced shortly thereafter. Perhaps the film's exploration of marital tensions and infidelity played a role in their separation. Notably, Kidman reportedly left Scientology after their split, while Cruise remains a devoted advocate. When viewed through the lens of satire, some of Kubrick's films are overtly so, while others, like Eyes Wide Shut, employ subtler approaches. In such cases, the film's message or intent may be less immediately clear to viewers, leaving it open to interpretation. I've often finished watching a Kubrick film for the first time feeling confused or even a bit exploited, as if I'd unknowingly participated in an inside joke between Kubrick and himself. Some of his films I liked immediately, but others left me utterly confounded. My knee-jerk reaction was often to dismiss him as heavy-handed, pretentious, or self-important. Yet something about each movie remained undeniably compelling. When I first saw Eyes Wide Shut in the theater in 1999, I liked it but also felt unsettled. Something about it rubbed me the wrong way, though I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. And that, in itself, was captivating. Over the past 20 years, I've found myself repeatedly drawn back to Eyes Wide Shut, studying it in an effort to unravel its mysteries. Each new viewing takes me down a different path of discovery, uncovering increasingly intricate details and unexpected layers of meaning, sometimes to truly mind-blowing degrees. Stanley Kubrick was a lifelong chess player, reportedly playing the game nearly every day since childhood. Watching Eyes Wide Shut feels much like observing a series of calculated strategic moves within an Escher-like chessboard dream labyrinth. The film is extraordinary in its almost inconceivable interconnectivity, weaving together a vast array of themes, subjects, symbols, and allusions. One conclusion I've come to about Eyes Wide Shut is that perhaps we're not meant to fully understand it. The impossibility hinted at in the title says it all, the overwhelming contradictions inherent in humanity. Among other things, it's a dream story. And how well do we ever truly understand our dreams?